With Gupani this side on behalf of SBNRI. I am a practicing chartered accountant. I am working exclusively with SBNRI over the past few years. Helping NRIs solve queries and assisting them with various. I am I am I have been working with SBNRI for the past 5-6 years. Before that, I was working with KPMG in Gurgaon. And right now I'm working exclusively with SBNRI for NRIs, right? Before we start off with the meeting, we see a lot of people who are here, and we'll give everyone a chance to, unmute themselves and speak up if they have any queries. So that'll be helpful not just for them, but for other users as well. Before that, I'll start with a quick background about what SBNRI does and what type of services we provide. It'll take just 2-3 minutes, and then we'll straight away move on to the questions, right? Thank you. Isha, can you move on to the next slide, please? Right. So on your screen right now, as you can see, SBNRI is a one-stop platform for NRIs. There are mainly three main verticals that we have. One is the banking division, where as an NRI, if you want to open up a bank account in India, it can be done digitally at any point of time. We have partnered with some of the major banks in India, and including IDFC Bank and Yes Bank. So there is no need of you being physically present in India. The entire point is being able to help you open up a bank account with a completely digital process without your physical presence in India. The second division is NRI investments, wherein as an NRI, if you want to invest in India, uh, then you can do that again digitally. Your KYC can be handled without your physical presence in India, and you can start investing in India. Now, when I say investment, it of course includes investment in mutual fund and portfolio management services. But apart from that, there are a lot of alternative investment options as well. If you want to invest in startups, if you want to invest in unlisted equity shares, that is also an option. If you want to, these days NRIs also prefer a lot of investment in commercial property, wherein you can become a fractional owner, where a lot of NRIs pool money and buy a commercial property together under a special purpose vehicle. So commercial real estate can also be done through the portal itself, right? So there are a lot of investment options available, and it'll be helpful for you if you can download the app and go through the investment options. And if you are interested in any of these options, you can just connect with the investment team and they'll guide you forward. The third was vertical is the NRI taxation and services vertical, wherein we basically assist NRIs with a host of their compliance needs. Now, these needs vary on a case to case basis, but there is like a broad category of general services that we provide. Isha, can you please move on to the next slide? So, this is basically a broad overview of general services that NRIs do need. As you can see on your screen, PAN being inoperative is a major problem for a lot of NRIs. For a lot of NRIs who did not have Aadhaar cards, their PAN had become inoperative and they were not able to go through with liquidation of investments or with further investments. This happened in July of 2023. And till date, there are a lot of NRIs, whose PAN cards remain inoperative. It is important to note that if you as an NRI have an inoperative PAN card, then you should not be applying for a new PAN card. It has to be made operative again by reaching out to the local assessing officer in India, wherever your jurisdiction is. So we were able to establish a network across India in July 2023 itself, and we were able to help more than 500 NRIs in getting their PAN card operative. And till date, we have actually helped more than 1,000 NRIs getting their PAN card operative. Apart from that, of course, if as an NRI you want to start your investment journey in India and you do not actually have a PAN card, then again we've made that process digital as well, where wherever you are, you can apply for a PAN card, and the process has been made digital. Your physical presence is not required, as well as you need not courier any documents to India. The process is completely digital. Uh, Apart from that, if you're selling or buying a property in India, then there are TDS compliances to be taken care of. TDS basically means tax withholding or tax deducted at source. Especially when an NRI is selling a property in India, that is a major compliance point, because as an NRI, when you sell a property in India, you're subjected to a large amount of tax withholding. So almost 15% of the sale proceeds gets withheld as TDS, which is a huge pain point for NRIs. Suppose you're selling a property for 1 CR, you actually get only 85 lakhs, and the 15 lakhs is blocked with the tax authorities. Then you have to wait for the entire year when you can file your ITR and claim a refund of that TDS. So there is an option under the law wherein you can apply for a lower TDS certificate, wherein you can reach out to the authorities upfront, to the tax authorities upfront, and ask them to issue a lower TDS certificate specific to your case. So that is again what something that we've helped NRIs with, wherever they might be selling their property in India. Of course, apart from that, if you ever want to remit money from India, you will, when you reach out to your bank, the bank might ask you for Form 15 CACB, which again is something that we've been helping a lot of people with. It is important for NRIs to know that, if you have an NRO account, then money can be remitted from India without payment of any TCS. TCS is a provision that applies only to resident Indians who are transferring money. A lot of NRIs have this fear that, if they transfer money from India, they will have to end up paying taxes, but that is not the case. Uh, of course, and then, there can be a lot of other compliances, income tax return filing being one of them, which is a major compliance point that has to be done every year on a regular basis. uh, right now is the time to get started with your ITR filing. Generally, we'll speak more about ITR filing in the coming slides. But apart from all these services, there is of course another option to schedule a one-on-one call, because a lot of times users who reach out to us, we've noticed that they do not have any specific uh, understanding of what is their current need, but they first want to understand what is the law that applies on their situations, and then accordingly we guide them as to how we can help them forward with the various services that we provide. These are of course a general category. These are the general categories of services that we provide. Of course, apart from this, if you have any other compliance need, a lot of times NRIs need help with PF withdrawal. If you have previous working experience in India and your PF was being deducted while you were working in India, then maybe that is stuck, or there could be various other requirements on a case to case basis. Feel free to reach out to us. My team has actually shared the link to schedule a call. You can use that at any point of time. Meanwhile, since we are here, if you have any queries with respect to any of these services, we can start taking up those queries one by one. Uh, you can also, put in your queries in the chat box, and we'll take those in order. Or if you want, you can, just unmute yourself and go ahead with your queries. So let's start with that first. We of course have, more. I have more information to give out specifically on ITR filing, which is the next slide, and implications of non-filing and also importance of filing. Isha, if you can move on to the next slide, that will be helpful. So, of course, ITR filing is something that is very important, that has to be done on a regular basis. Generally, 31st of July is the deadline every year to file your ITR. But this year, there has been an unusual, unexpected delay by the tax authorities in releasing in notifying the form. And even though they've notified the forms, but the utilities which are actually required to file the ITR on the income tax portal have not been rolled out yet, especially for NRIs, because the form for NRIs, the relevant form is ITR 2, or in some cases ITR 3. And those forms or those utilities have not been rolled out yet. So actually for NRIs, their ITR filing has not started yet. So the date has been extended from 31st July to 15th of September. So if you have been in a situation where you could not file your ITR earlier, uh, or you missed out because of the deadline, make sure that you do not miss it this time, because it has anyway been extended. Feel free to reach out to us at the earliest. I will actually share my email ID in the chat box right away as I speak, so that if you have any queries with respect to any of your compliance needs, you can reach out to me on my email, or you can reach out to my team, and we'll be able to take it forward from there. Right. So before we go ahead with more on ITR filing, I have questions coming in. So let's start with those. Uh, I have one question from Mr. ABR. Thank you for bringing up the PF. Is there an issue if I do not withdraw PF and let it be as is? No, actually, it is completely fine if you let the EPF account be as it is. Uh, Generally, if it was a PPF, you've not mentioned if this was a PPF or an EPF. If you're on the call, can you, feel free to unmute yourself. We can discuss this. Uh, but yeah, anyway, till that time, let's just uh, handle this question with the information that we have. So, with respect to the PF amount, there is no issue. You can keep it as it is, but after a point of time, it will stop earning any money. The interest will stop coming if the contributions stop. So it just makes sense that you withdraw it at some point of time and invest it somewhere else where it can give you a return rather than just letting it be as it is, right? Uh, so
Hey,
I have
Mohit, Ashik.
yeah, sure. Hi,
I believe it's an hi. I believe it's an EPF. It's from my previous employer's contribution when I was working in India. So
right.
it's not an PPF. I mean, I have actively not contributed anything additional into a funded fund. I believe it's an EPF. So
Yeah,
as you
right.
mentioned, it's better to withdraw it and not let it be, so that I can invest the money and let it grow. The interest stops accumulating after the contribution has stopped. Is it right?
Yeah. After a couple of years, maybe you'll stop generating interest on that. So ideally, if you're not working in India anymore and if you do not have any plans in the near future, you should ideally withdraw it because you will need those funds at some point of time. So it definitely makes sense to withdraw it and invest it somewhere. Plus, it'll also sometimes the PF withdrawal can be taxable depending on how long you had worked in India. Was your period of service in India greater than 5 years?
It was greater than 10 years actually, which is why I just did not withdraw it, let it be. It's been 10 plus years since I moved out of India, so it's
Okay.
technically,
And
yeah.
your period of work in India was also greater than 10 years, right?
It is. I mean, it was greater than 10 years. Yes.
Which, so, in that case, the entire withdrawal amount will be completely tax free. There is a specific way to, get that withdrawal done. And there is a unified portal through which you can withdraw it. And I think you should get it done at the earliest, rather employ those funds into the stock market or any other asset class where it gives you a better rate of return, right?
I completely agree with you on this. Also, another question for you, and if that's okay, if there's no other questions
Sure,
from anybody
sure.
else.
Sure, go ahead.
So with regards to filing the income tax, um, I do not have any income in India. It's been, I would say, over a decade since I moved out. No income at the moment. So is it required for me to still keep filing my ITR, or I mean, I haven't from the past 12 years.
See, irrespective of whether you've not filed for the last 12 years, right? We cannot even go back that far long and file the ITRs now. But this is a good question that you brought up because this is something that I anyway wanted to discuss with everyone. Is the fact that general understanding among the NRIs is that if you do not have any income in India, you need not file an ITR, and which is true to a certain extent, right? It is not
Mhm.
incorrect. But a lot of times, what happens is that NRIs, keep remitting their foreign earnings into India. They keep transferring this money into their NRE, NRO bank accounts, and then they invest it either in a property or they invest it into mutual funds. As NRIs, you can also create FDs, be it NRE FD or NRO FD. Now, what happens is that the tax authorities actually are generally not aware of the fact that you are an NRI. Okay. And whenever you have such foreign remittances coming into India and using that money to either create any sort of investment, be it an FD, be it mutual funds, be it a property or any XYZ investment asset class, all financial intermediaries that are involved in the process, do report these transactions to the tax authorities. So, example, as an NRI, if you're buying a property in India, then the
Mhm.
sub registrar office, where the sale deed gets executed, the sub
Mhm.
registrar office will report that, Mr. XYZ has bought a property. And tax authorities, because of not being aware of the situation that you are actually an NRI and these are your foreign earnings that you're emitting into India, they end up sending you a notice for non-filing because, of course, it's now it's all artificial intelligence, and the system just picks up an individual that
Okay.
flags your PAN, and you end up getting a notice from the tax authorities. We've been telling this for a lot of time to NRIs now that irrespective of your level of income. If you have financial transactions in India, and this even covers your NRE account, right? Even though the NRE income is completely exempt, but if you have financial transactions in India, you should be filing your ITR in India as a general rule, irrespective of your level of income. Please do not assume that only your income. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it certainly does. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Right.
Hello, Mohit. It's Anuj.
Hi, Anuj. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, Mohit, I have filed couple of times my NRI income tax return in India, and the authorities knows my NRI status because I have those returns filed. So, right now, I'm not earning anything in India. So, and if there is a property sale purchase, then there will be TDS portion, 10% of the property transaction. Then anyhow, we have to file the return to get that TDS, or if we have deducted to deposit the TDS. But as per my situation, I don't think so. I have to file the ITR return.
See, again, the same situation actually applies to you. And you did mention the fact that you filed your ITR for the last 2 years as an NRI. So the tax
Not,
authority know.
not last 2 3 years, but before that for 2 3 years, I have already filed the
Okay.
NRI returns.
Now, one more thing that I wanted to highlight, and this will actually be relevant for everyone. So, how does the Income Tax Act actually determine whether you are an NRI or you're a resident Indian, right? It depends on the number of days that you've spent in India. So every year, if you've spent more than 182 days in India, you qualify as a resident Indian. If you've spent less than that, then you qualify as a non-resident. This is one of the most basic conditions with respect to residential status, which is covered by Section 6 of the Income Tax Act. But there are
Sorry,
other.
Mohit, I need to interrupt you here.
Yeah.
As per my understanding, like last few couple of weeks, I had discussion with couple of banks, and I have like I don't have Indian passport. So
Mhm.
everyone told me that now you don't have to worry about you are NRI or you are resident Indian. You are NRI anyhow. If you don't
Uh,
have Indian passport, then you are NRI.
So, Mr. Anuj, I'll just request you to hear me out. So, first of all, your passport defines your citizenship. It does not define your residential status, right? If you do not have an Indian passport, then you're no longer an Indian citizen. But residential status, as per and this is, what I'm telling you, according to the tax laws. Now, banks and bank people are generally not experts with respect to tax laws. So, I just request you to hear me out, please. So, your residential status is dependent on the number of days that you spend in India every year, right? And when we file your ITR or when we file an ITR for any NRI, right? The ITR form also specifically requests the number of days, details of the number of days that you spent in India. So again, if you have had financial transactions in India, right? I would strongly suggest that go ahead and file your ITR because the number of days that you spent 2 years back or 3 years back is not really relevant. The number of days that you spent this year is relevant, right? And again, your passport is also not very relevant because it defines your citizenship. India taxes individuals on the basis of their residential status, largely on the basis of their residential status. Citizenship does not matter much, okay? So again, if you have financial transactions in India, in this particular financial year that has just gone by, it strongly suggest go ahead with your ITR. If you do not have financial transactions, then of course you can skip filing the ITR. Okay.
Yeah, Mohit. So I have a financial transaction in this year, so that means I have to file it. I should file
You
return
should
next year,
you
right?
should definitely file it. Yeah, absolutely.
And Mohit, how much you? I believe you file ITR returns, right?
Of course, yes, we do.
And how much do you charge for the filing?
See, we charge on a case-to-case basis. Generally, filing prices start from INR 4,000 and they go up to INR 7,000 for NRIs on a case-to-case basis. This also covers DTAA exemptions that have to be claimed. Sometimes, apart from ITRs, a lot of other forms also have to be filled up. So the filing charges vary on a case-to-case basis. Fortunately, we were going to, announce this later on. But for people who are attending this session, there will be a 10% discount over the next few days. So you can reach out to my team and
And
take it over from there. Yeah.
sorry, one more thing. Are you based in Delhi?
We are based primarily in Gurgaon, yes, and we have a head office in Gurgaon. Yeah.
Okay, because I met couple of CAs and they are not well aware of the laws for the NRIs.
That does happen, and see, we actually cannot blame them because they generally deal only with residents, right? And for CAs, their area of work is so wide that probably those CAs know something else that I don't. So it is some NRI taxation is something that I specialize in, and I'm sure we could answer your questions, and we could be of help to you. So I'm glad for that. And yeah, feel free to reach out. We'll take this forward with you.
Perfect. So I am right now in Delhi, so I would be looking forward to meet you in next couple
Sure,
of
sure.
days.
You can visit our office at any point of time. And if you want, we can also set up a one-on-one digital, meeting on Gmeet, whatever suits you, right?
That will
I'll,
be better.
right. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you. I'll take up other queries now.
yep.
So thank you.
Hi,
Thank you.
Mohit.
Hi.
This is Parin.
Hi, Parag.
So my question was regarding the kind of account you open at Zerodha or any other, securities companies. Is it going to be a PIS account or a NRO non-PIS account?
So again, it has to be linked either with your NRO or NRE. But
Correct.
pins and non-pins actually varies on the basis of whether these transactions will be reported by the intermediary to RBI or not. Now,
Mm.
generally speaking, from a taxation point of view, it is
Mm-hmm.
completely indifferent what type of investment account you hold. Whether you hold a pins or non-pins, whether it is
Mm-hmm.
linked to your NRO or NRE. The
Mm.
only difference between NRO and NRE is the fact that the interest income, right? If your funds
Mm-hmm.
are idle in your bank account, and if it is in the
Mm-hmm.
NRO, then the interest amount is exempt. But if the funds are lying on in the NRO account and you generate interest on that, then that is taxable. But
Mm.
apart from that, once the money goes out of the bank account and into equity shares, right?
Mm.
Then
Mm.
any income arising from those equity shares, be it dividend, be it capital gain, whenever you sell those assets, those will
Mm.
be taxable as per capital gain laws, or dividend will be taxable as other income, right?
Mm.
So irrespective of the bank account you choose, it does not matter. With respect to pins, non-pins is something that the
Mm.
investment team at SBNRI will be able to guide you better as to
Mm-hmm.
there might be differences with respect to the transaction charges and all those things. From a taxation
Mm-hmm.
point, it is completely indifferent. If you want, we can reach out. I can ask the investment team to connect with you, and they'll guide you forward on this query.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Because I currently have the pins account and it is a lot of problem because I cannot do anything on my own. I have to constantly reach out to uh, the the securities account I have with.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, ideally, that should not be a situation. Ideally, you should have control of this yourself, where you can do everything, whatever you want. You should be able to do it yourself. And yeah, I would suggest that you reach out to the investment team, and they'll be able to
Hmm.
help set up an account where you have complete control over things yourself.
Hmm. Okay. And one last question is, so back in India, so currently I pay for the rent where my parents stay.
Mhm.
Um, is there any way I could claim that on my taxation?
Yeah, definitely. If you have an income in the first place, so if you have
Hmm.
a regular income, right, which is taxable
Okay.
at the rate in India, right? And if it is becoming taxable, then you would want to claim any expenses like rent paid
Hmm.
against that income to bring it down, to bring it down to, give you tax savings. So do you have
Okay.
any taxable income right now? Because generally, if you don't
Mm,
have any taxable income, then there is no tax at all. And if there is no tax, then there is no question of a tax saving, right? So a
okay.
lot of times
Okay.
NRIs, have, if you have income like interest on NRO or
Hmm.
dividend income or rental income, then
Hmm.
if they are less than 3 lakh, or from next year it'll be 4 lakhs. So if it is
Yeah.
below this level,
Hmm.
you anyway don't have to pay any taxes, right? So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So in case, let's say your equities are giving you a better returns, and it is going more than the exemption amount, in that case, I was wondering if that is a possibility.
Equities, no. Against capital gain income, there are no such
Mhm.
deductions allowed. Also, capital
Okay.
gains are actually chargeable at a flat rate, which is defined for capital gains. Suppose you have
Mm-hmm.
equity gains, then it is taxable at 12.5%. If you have debt mutual funds, long term, again taxable at 12.5, short term taxable at the slab rate. Um, Short-term equity is taxable at 20%. So those are defined rates, and they are not actually covered by the slab rate. Slab rate of 3 to 4 lakhs does not apply to capital gain income. There is a separate exemption of 1.25 lakhs every year for long-term equity gain specifically. But yeah, apart from that, there are no deductions, and even the slab rate exemption does not apply to these capital gains for NRIs. The situation for residents can be different, but for NRIs, no, you have to pay a flat rate on the capital gain, apart from the
Okay.
1.25 lakh exemption. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you so much, Mohit.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
have availed your services actually last year for the taxation, so I'm pretty comfortable in what you guys have helped me with.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bharat. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a
Hi,
quick
Mohit.
question.
This is Jeff. How are you? I'm
Hi, I'm good. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Mohit. My name is Jatin Raj. I'm calling from Canada, actually.
Ye-
And I have a quick question, actually. So I've already engaged SBNRI regarding some of my help with my taxation and India filing as well as Canada. And probably Ria from your office might have reached out to you. I had a quick question before I engage SPNRI services and especially your services and maybe possibly Hitesh, who's the Canada expert.
Right.
I was told that I will have to share my login password for ITR filing e-portal. I was wondering if that's like a standard procedure on SPNRI side, or if I can designate SPNRI, your team, to as a
No, no,
as
no.
a
I actually saw
PR.
your email. I saw your email
You did
yesterday
it?
where you had
Uh-huh.
specifically mentioned this concern, right? So there
Yes,
are
please.
two options to go about this, Jatin. So generally what happens is on the income tax portal, there is an
Mm-hmm.
option, authorize you. So there is an option, my part in the partner section, you can add my,
PRICA.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we generally provide my membership number, the CA Institute membership number that authorizes me to practice as a chartered
Mm-hmm.
accountant. So as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you enter that number, my name automatically pops up, and then you can just go ahead and add it. But even if you add it, it does not give me the right to file your taxes without your login credentials. So the
Right.
purpose of adding that CA is to authorize me to file some forms. So
Mm-hmm.
example, if a lot of people here would have heard of form 15CB. So 15CB is a form which is a certificate by a chartered accountant,
Yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm. I know.
which basically is required when you remit money from your NRO account to a foreign bank account, right?
I'm
And
aware of that.
yeah, right. So for 15CB, you have to authorize me, and then I can do
Mm-hmm.
it with my login credential. But the ITR
Okay.
form is not something that you can authorize me, because even after you add me, then there are
Uh-huh.
specific forms that are available for authorization, and the ITR form is
Understood.
one of them. So but even within this, there are two options. One option is where if you can provide your income tax login credentials, we go ahead and file the ITR, but of course only after your approval. The second option
Yeah.
that we provide is that, if you can extract the information from the income tax portal, like your AIS, TIS, 26AS, download them and share
Yeah.
it with us, we can still go ahead and prepare your ITR, and we
Sure.
share an XML file with you, which you can then log in and just upload it. So we do
Uh-huh.
all the technical work. We provide a final XML file. You can just log in and upload it, and the ITR filing will be completed. So both options are available. Okay.
Okay. Quite honestly, Mohit, I'm comfortable sharing with you, having seen you, SBNRI and all that. I just wanted to make sure that it's in safe
So,
hands, and obviously, what I wanted to reduce the intermediary steps of files, etc. So just wanted to confirm with you that it's okay to and safe to for me to share my login password, etc.
absolutely,
And it will not be
absolutely.
changed,
And
right? So
no,
that
no,
I maintain the control.
yeah, it'll never be changed. Also, not just your login credentials, but also the documents that you share, you know, the documents that you share with us, for ITR filing, or some people reach out for PAN card applications. This is an undertaking that goes on all our emails, or
Of course.
I think, and even in the PPT right now, you can see at the bottom of the page, the documents that you share are used only for the purpose that you share it for, right? And no other.
Understood.
So that is
Okay.
a consistent thing that we've been following, and we will follow that.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mohit. And I will continue to touch base. Is it okay? And thank you for whoever put the scheduling 111. Is it okay if I send an email to you with the background and sort of have a 111 schedule with you? I'll send an email and then I'll follow up with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can get that done. Right, right.
Awesome. Thank you. And then I think you will be able to sort of connect me or rope in Hitesh as well for my Canada filing. I
Absolutely,
will.
absolutely, absolutely. No
Awesome.
problem.
Thank you, Mohit. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jatin.
Mohit, can I ask a question, or is there somebody else ahead?
No, sure, sure. Sumit, go ahead. Yeah.
Take a minute.
We'll
Yes,
we'll
hi.
make sure that everyone's queries are solved, so don't worry. Yeah, go ahead.
So I think I will take mine, offline. But I just wanted to ask you, both me and my wife, we are U.S. citizens, and we file in U.S. We also have earning in India, so we have been filing with the help of a local chartered accountant in India. But I think they don't understand where it gets confusing is my understanding is US citizens are required to declare income, worldwide income. And we have kind of struggled with it. This year, I got clarification from CPAs in USA on how to treat NRO income because my mother died last year, and so I've inherited her money, which is much more than what I maintained in India before, so I didn't really have to deal with much. I have always been declaring the income from the NRE in US, but the NRO I have not because I pay tax on that in India. What I am told by CPAs in the USA is I do not need to pay tax on my income on the NRO accounts because I don't bring that money into USA. Are you familiar with the rules of this the tax treaty between US and India that you can confirm or you need to go find out more? I just don't want to be like screwed based on I went on one CPA's opinion.
Fair enough, fair enough. I get your point. So, see, Sumit, I'm not an expert on US taxes, but on the basis of the experience that I have, I can give you some inputs on this. I'm not an expert on US taxes, right? But having said that, the law generally states that as a US tax resident, you are supposed to be reporting your global income in the US. But for whatever taxes you've paid in India, those will be available as a credit in the US. And even the India US DTAA does provide this benefit. So suppose, if you've earned an income of say 5 lakhs in India, right? And you've paid say 20,000 taxes on that. These are just random figures, to help you reach an understanding. So ideally, as a US tax resident, you'll have to report your global income, which includes this 5 lakh Indian income. And if US is taxing this at say 20%, which means 1 lakh rupees of taxes, then the 20,000 that you've paid in India will be available as a credit in US. So in US, you need to pay only the differential 80,000 and not the entire 1 lakh, right?
Well, but that's not how it works because whatever you earn, if you are in the, let's say the, high tax brackets, and then in India, because your income is low, then you basically get a refund in India. Now, if you start declaring that tax in the US, add it to your US income, and then start taking the credits will be puny or non-existent. In fact, the refund will actually add on to your income and you'll have to pay more. So what I am told, at least that the if I don't bring that money into US, she specifically went through the tax treaty and that's what she's told me. I need confirmation on this because
Sure.
starting this year, it will be much more a substantial amount. The second is in India, these banks, they try to sell us all kinds of rubbish insurance policies, but none of these insurance policies, these are all annuities. They don't issue 1099s, and you cannot file taxes in US on income, because annuities are, you cannot treat them as just like interest income, because it's really your money that is being refunded. It's an investment. So you need a 1099. There's a certain schedule for how annuities are treated. I had to like go through acrobatics to do it for this year, because I got trained this year with IRS software. I was doing some volunteering. That's how I came to know all of this. If I ask you guys to do it, how would you even treat my annuity income?
So
If
again,
the
Sumit,
LICs don't, or the Max Life, they don't generate a 1099. And if they don't generate a 1099, I cannot even file in the US. It kicks it back to me saying, oh, we need a 1099.
so Sumit, before I answer, these are all questions that are basically based on US filing and how to handle your Indian income in the US. And again, a US CPA will be the correct person. We have a US CPA on board who has been helping individuals like mainly Indian origin people who are settled in the US and who have income from India, right? And he does this on an everyday basis, right? I would suggest that you connect with him. You
Okay.
can reach out to my team. Isha and Ria are with me, and they'll connect you to the concerned person.
Okay.
Isha, yeah, if you can share the link to schedule a call with the CPA. Again, Sumit, I'll repeat. As far as I understand, you should be reporting your foreign income over there. And of course, I understand these, problems, even though if you want to report, you do not have the appropriate forms. But the US CPA will be the correct person to be guide you with these problems. Okay,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Can I ask a question now? What about if you have NREs accounts? Are they exempt from tax in India? And yet, if you declare them in the UK, I live in the UK. If I
Right.
declare them in the UK at 20% of my tax, I get 15% allowance. Is that right? My treaty rule says 15% for NREs.
So see,
Is that right?
now what happens is, when we are talking about UK taxation, see, there is an India UK DTAA, of course, but when we are looking at tax implications in India, we look at the DTAA and the India tax laws, right? And when we look at
Yeah,
tax applications in the UK, we look at the UK tax law and the India
yeah,
UK DTAA, right? So I do
yeah.
have understanding of the DTAA, but I'm not an expert on UK taxes. And for this reason, as I mentioned to Sumit earlier, again, we have a UK tax expert as well, who can help you with this query, because NRE income is anyway exempt in India. You're not paying any taxes in India. With respect to UK, of course, there are a lot of changes that have happened recently, since April of 2025, when, earlier the remittance basis of taxation was available, but it has been done away with, and all those changes
Yeah.
with respect to domicile and everything. So, of course,
Mm.
there would be significant changes for you, but again, the UK tax expert would be the correct person, and
Mm.
I would
I
request you to.
make remittance. I can declare my tax arising, my NRE income arising within the year, but I cannot do remittance. I have an option to say, oh, had you been able to remit the income or not? So I have an option on my UK tax form to say, no, it wasn't remittance. So I have to declare it though, isn't it? As it arose in the year.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I think
When I try to fill in the global income form, it says, were you able to do remittance as well on this money that you
no,
earned
see,
in?
I won't be able to help you on this. I'll ask the team to, send you a
Yeah.
link to set up a call with the UK tax expert. He will be able to answer this. I don't know how to file UK taxes. I'm really sorry. If you have any questions,
Okay, but I filled it in and I have no not yet have not had any problems yet, but I filed it as 15% because treaty from UK and India is you get 15% allowance for the NREs, any interest on NREs.
right.
Even though not paid any tax in India, isn't it? We have to pay the 15%.
Absolutely.
We have
You're right. You're
we
right.
are taxpayers, but we have 15% allowance, and that's the only thing I've done. I cut out all the NREs, declared the NREs at 15%, and the NROs I the TDS out.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but the TDS is in India, though. Are you declaring the NRO income in UK?
Yeah, both. I had to declare both. The NRO is also declared as well, even though TDS is taken out. You still have to declare it. This is what I was told. And then you get tax credits, isn't it? You declare it and you get that tax credit back anyway. Right? There's a box to fill in how much TDS was taken, and you get the credit if there is any credit.
Mohit, so I'm going to drop off, but I'm going to look forward to that expert who can help me with taxation.
Absolutely. I think
Uh,
team has already shared the link. Just copy that link and keep it for your reference. You can set up a call at any point of time, right?
where is the link here? In my mail? I
In,
don't
in the
see it.
chat, in the chat box here.
Oh, in the
Or,
chat box.
yeah, I can just ask the team after this call. They'll send it to you in your email as well.
Just send it to me in my email, please. I'm going to
Sure.
drop off. Thank you for this call.
Thank
I
you.
just have a
Thank you.
quick question. It will take a second for you to answer. So I have some rental income in India, which is
Anupam, is this Anupam? Can you be a little louder?
yeah. So I was saying that I have rental income in India, which is around 40,000, but it is divided between my wife and myself. So it comes to like 20,000 a month, so around 2,50,000 a year for each of us. Do I still need to file the returns?
Not mandatory. To be honest, you can skip filing the ITR. It is completely fine. If you just have, although, see, generally what happens is, and if you can see the PPT on your screen right now, the law actually, says that if you own an immovable property in India, right, then it becomes mandatory to file an ITR. But practically speaking, uh, you know, uh, generally we link it to financial transactions, because if you've bought a property in any particular year, right, and so you've definitely had financial transactions in that year. So we strongly recommend, because we've seen lots and lots of cases for people receiving notices for non-filing in the specific year when they bought a property, right? Once you've bought it and you're just holding it, then it is fine if you don't, if you don't file your ITR. This is practically, but legally, as an owner of an immovable property, you have to file an ITR. But practically, there are no major implications if you don't do it. Authorities till
Thank you.
now have not been strongly reaching out to people who own an property. They have not been sending notices, but there is a very specific news just last week where it is proposed that all the land records in India are now going to be digitized, right? Because right now, if you're aware of how land deals happen, there is of course a sub registrar office where the sale deed gets registered, but after that there is a mutation that has to be done in the land records. Your name has to be updated. So to be honest, tax authorities do not have all this information. Once these land records get digitized, the tax authorities will be able to access that as well. And in the future, you might end up getting notices for non-filing of ITR just because you own a property, because legally you are required to file an ITR if you own a property. Okay, right now the tax authorities just do not have the basis to send a notice on that, right? Because they do not have access to that information. But it might come up in the future. Yeah. As of now, it's not a problem.
Got it. Thank
Hello.
you so much.
Hi, Mohit.
Hi.
Yes, hi. Hi, Mohit. My name is Abhinav. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Abhinav, hi. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing today, Mohit?
Sorry, I lost you.
How are you doing today?
Sorry, I again didn't get you. I'm really sorry.
How are you doing today? How are you doing
Oh,
today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you, Abhinav. Thanks for asking.
Hi.
Yeah, hope you're doing
You're
fine.
welcome. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak on the SBNRI. And I want to let you know it's been 2 years I'm using this platform. And before using this platform, I researched a lot to find an accurate platform to invest in India. Firstly, I was using my mother's, bank account to do the transaction and mutual funds and all that stuff, and generating the OTPs in Indian, the OTPs on Indian SIM card was pretty hard for me. the how convenient SBNRIs made my life. I'm really appreciating that, because now we get the OTPs on our international phone numbers. Plus, we have someone like advisor who advises us we need any help. Like Akhilesh is always there, and I really appreciate that. So the reason for my call is I want to know that, like, I like SBNRI is very getting advanced by the time, because like even though the Zerodha is pretty much old for the NRIs, and the grow is not giving a chance to the NRIs to invest. I think like SBNRIs has did very great work for the NRI people to put their footstep into India to invest. But what I am expecting is when SBNRI is bringing direct equity for the NRIs, because it will make us more convenient to invest in direct equity. Plus now crypto has been accepted by US. How now the ETFs has come in crypto. I want to know like when we are start investing in like ETF mutual fund, something like that, in crypto direct, like how when it will getting involved. Also the Geo has the now they have tied with BlackRock, so Geo is launching their own platform. Do the NRIs like from US and Canada will get a chance to invest in Geo's mutual funds, because they are using AI technology to invest in mutual fund, which will be more advanced and they will beat up the market. As how Geo beat up the all other Airtel and other Vodafone companies. I think Geo has launching their mutual fund from 1 rupee, and I don't know, like, will they give NRIs from US and Canada chance to invest into this platform or not?
So first of all, Abhinav, thank you so much for your feedback,
You're
um,
welcome.
and also your your ideas with respect to further investment opportunities with respect to direct equity. Unfortunately, I won't be able to answer on that right now because I'm not the one taking those decisions. I'm mainly dealing with the compliance section, but I will definitely give this feedback to the investment team. And with respect to investment options, as far as that goes, or with respect to the new mutual fund options coming up, only with respect to US and Canada, there is a restriction that there are, limited mutual funds that US and Canadian residents can invest in. And apart from that, if there is any other mutual fund and if you're in any other country, you should be able to invest into, wherever you want to. So that should also be available also. Although, thanks for your feedback. And I understand your question is mainly about uh, investments and not about taxation. I will ask you're of course already connected with the investment team, but I'll take your feedback and I'll give it to the main management team who are taking decisions on these, investment options, and I'll ask them to, consider your recommendations. Thank you. Thank you so much, Abhinav.
Yeah,
Hi,
because
Mohit.
because I believe yeah, because I believe the SBNRI is doing a really great job, and because the way they are getting advanced, how they are like the small changes they do for the clients, and though how deeply they work, because it is very tough. If you see any other bank, they are not like too much into this stuff. Like go to ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank, they don't know they don't like give more chance for NRIs from US, Canada,
That's
or
true.
others to invest into this platform like this. I really appreciate your job.
Right, right. Thank you, Abhinav.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Hi, Mohit. I don't have a question. I just want to say I'm Santosh. You've been helping me
Santosh,
for
of
the
course.
last 3 years. I just want everybody to know I'm not getting paid from SBNRA to give this feedback.
Oh,
So
thank you
I
for
got a
joining.
tax audit 3 years ago for 37 lakhs for a 1 crore property, which is a legit money. I did not do anything wrong. So I was like having a sleepless nights. Actually, I don't know what to do, whom to contact. I don't have any connections in India. I moved to US like 20 years ago. At a conference, I met SBNRI. I am fortunate, like I met Mohit via SBNRI. For the last 2.5 years, he been fighting on my case until it is resolved, and he traveled for me all the way to Hyderabad from wherever he is, from Delhi, and he took the personal care. I'm successfully to inform all of you. He resolved my case. He took it as a personal accomplishment. So I want to thank Mohit for his sincerity, hard work, and dedication to resolve my case. My case is resolved. I'm super happy and thankful for SBNRA and Mohit team.
Thank you, Mr. Santosh. And actually, I'll briefly highlight your case because this is something that we discussed just at the start of this webinar. So, Mr. Santosh had a very, very similar case that he had actually bought a property for which he had been remitting money into India, using these various platforms like Remitly and TransferWise. So he had been transferring money into India and buying, and he had bought a property in Hyderabad. Now, what happened was that he did not file his ITR for that year, of course, because he did not have any income. He was just transferring money into India, buying a property. And the tax authority sent him a notice because they did not know, an individual who's buying a property for, such a huge amount. How can he not be filing his ITR? And then we had to submit all proofs, with respect to his residential status, with respect to each and every, remittance transaction that he'd done. So yeah, this does happen, and Mr. Santosh is just one of the examples. And this happens across India because these are, now system-driven notices that keep going out to people. So therefore, if you have had financial transactions in India, do file your ITR. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Santosh, for joining in. Thank you for your feedback. Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you, Mohit.
Mohit. Hi, Mohit. I have a question as well.
Right. Fair.
Mohit, do you can you share the link where I can reach out to the Canadian tax filing? I mean, tax advice consultant.
Let me just Isha and Ria are on the call. Isha, if you can, just share it right now, that'll be very helpful. It should be there in the chat box in a minute at the max. Yeah.
Okay, and I think you right now. I think we are going to file it pretty soon. My ITR, sorry, income tax. So once we do that, like, how long does it take for the refunds to come into our accounts?
So actually, generally what happens is at the max, the ITR portal, has been undergoing changes over the last 3-4 years, and the return filing processing has become much faster. Generally, maximum it takes 2 to 3 months. Sometimes we've seen, returns being processed within a few days or a week or a few weeks. And once the
Okay.
return is processed, then the refund takes at the max another month or so. But
Okay.
this year till now, the forms have not been released, because of which we've not been able to file ITRs. So
Oh, okay.
we started working on the ITRs, but and there is, and I might have, shared that with you on WhatsApp, or the
Yeah.
notification that was
Mhm.
released end of May. And
Mhm.
because there has been significant delay by the authorities, they've extended the deadline from 31st July to 15th of September. So as soon as the forms roll out, we'll start filing those ITRs, right? So
Mhm.
the earlier we file,
Mhm.
the better it is for, the earlier you get the refund, right? Yeah.
Right, right. Okay. And one follow-up question on that. Now, the refunds that we get, it's probably going to go into my NRO account or something like that.
Right.
Now, is that repatriable?
Absolutely, that is repatriable. I mean, in your case, it was out of sale of property. Since we are
Mhm.
reporting the sale of property in the ITR for 24-25, and that TDS
Right.
account of this property sale, we are already reporting that the entire sale proceed, inclusive of the TDS amount, we are reporting
Mhm.
it tax, right? So once the refund comes, it is absolutely freely repatriable.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much, Mohit.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you all.
Hi, Mohit. This is Shailendra.
Hi, Shiv.
I just want to thank you because last 2 years you have been helping me out with my tax filing, and of course it was hassle free. So I'm very happy. This year also I'm planning to file taxes with SBNRI.
Right.
My question is not yesterday, I think last week I tried to download TIS, and I'm from USA, so it was giving some sort of error. So are you aware or anyone is aware like why this error
You
I'm
should be
getting?
able to download it because we've been working on ITRs every day, and we download TIS every day, so it should be possible. Although, see, if you want, we'll just download it and share it with you, right? Don't be worried about it. Sometimes, being in a foreign location, the portal, may face more issues than general. Plus, this year, as I mentioned, the tax returns have, the tax utilities have not been rolled out yet, and the system is still undergoing updates. So that could be a possible issue. but that would probably have been for a few hours or so. But generally, the portal is working fine generally. Yeah.
Okay. Just follow-up question like, sorry, I joined just a few minutes ago. So for this year, has the uh, income tax filing process started or I have to wait?
Not yet, not yet. Generally, filing starts by the end of April or the first week of May. This
Mhm.
year, there has been an unexpected and unusual delay by the authorities, and just a week or 10 days back, they announced that, they're extending the deadline by 45 days, which is, unprecedented. It is a huge extension. We can just assume that this is because they need more time to, release the utilities for filing. And
Yeah.
so there is no specific timeline that they've given as of now. But given the 45-day extension, it could take some time at their end, to roll out those utilities, and only then can the filing start, right? Also, what happens is that once they roll out the utilities, there can be some errors or something. So
Mhm.
once the utilities are rolled out, we wait for a day or two, and then we start filing the returns here.
So when to approach SPNRI or you in
See,
order to
we've
start my
actually
tax filing?
started working on the ideas. We've actually, a lot of people have already reached out. We've started working on their, return forms. We've started doing their calculations, so that as soon as the portal starts accepting returns, we should be in a position to, go ahead and file it. See, to be honest, we do not know whether the filing will start tomorrow or maybe 10 days from now. But at least at our end, what we have been doing is, we've been doing a lot of these processes, and where possible, of course, because of the utilities not being rolled out, there are some limitations, but for a lot of cases we are already doing up the calculations and keeping everything prepared, so that we can go ahead with the filing as soon as it starts. Especially because a lot of NRIs are, dependent on their Indian ITR form to be completed, on the basis of which they can then, complete the US returns or UK returns or wherever you might be, right? So therefore, we are keeping everything ready. Please reach out at the earliest, connect with me on my email or with my team, and we'll get the process started for you.
Okay, sure. I'll be sending email tonight.
Great.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mohit,
After
can
you
can you hear me?
ITR return, how soon can you do the remittance? Within after you get the refund or some approval?
Sorry, I did not get you. Can you please repeat your question?
So after we do the return, let's say we submit the return, how soon can we do the remittance afterwards? The
See, your
transactional.
remittance is actually not based on your return. You can do the remittance right now. You don't have to
I
wait for the return filing to go ahead with the remittance. The
mm,
remittance is based on the tax payment, and if the tax payment has been done last year, if the TDS was done, then there is no problem with the remittance. I would suggest you reach out to me separately, schedule a call, and we'll have to understand more about the source of the money that has come into your account and what was the TDS, and then we can, get the remittance forms done right away. We don't need to wait for the filing.
I see.
Yeah.
Is it 15 CB or
Yes, 15
15
C
CB?
and 15 CB. It will be best that you first reach out to your bank and see what
I,
they owe. If they insist on
I see.
15 CB, then we'll get it done. Absolutely.
I see. And how do we get in touch with the bank and tell them? How do we tell them about the your
You
company
should be having
assisting us?
that wouldn't be necessary. The bank is not concerned with, who is doing the 15 CCB for you. So as long as you reach out to the bank, and if they insist on 15 CCB, then 15 CACB is something that, we are just assisting you. Finally, it is approved by the income tax department, and we download it from the income tax portal. So that is
Mm,
what matters, right? So it's
mm,
irrelevant. Yeah.
mm.
And Mohit, we have to
Uh,
apply this 15 CACB every year?
No, whenever you need to remit money from India, at that point
Yeah.
of time, you reach out to your
mm,
bank, and the bank will
mm.
accordingly ask you for it at that point of time. And that is the point when we need to create it, not every year.
So that means
Every
every
year,
time we have to apply for CACB.
every time you remit money at that
Yeah.
point of time, it also depends on the amount of remittance. If the amount of remittance is generally less than 5 lakhs, then the bank will not ask you for it. If the or it also depends on the source of money coming into your bank account. So there can be various situations, and the bank will let you know if they really need it. And if they need, then you need to get it done. but it is definitely not required every year. Every year, you only need to make sure that you do the ITR remittance on a case-to-case basis whenever needed. You can do it at
But you
that.
can transfer the money directly from NRO account to the outside account.
Absolutely, that can be done. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
And how do we get the deduction, the payment out from the bank as well in the same submission? You know, I file the submission. How do I get the money to be deducted from my NRO account for the tax bill? You know, I ask them permission, or how it happens at the same time.
No, I'm not sure what your question is, but
How do I pay the tax owing after the filing is returned when there is a tax due for me to pay?
if there is a tax due, of course, then we have to pay the tax through the income tax portal itself, uh, and we have to create a challan and pay it through whatever net banking or whatever channels
I see.
suits you. We'll be able to help you
I
with
see.
that. Don't
I don't
worry.
have banking with them, you know. I have only I have no internet point yet from them. They have to give me permission to or I have to ask permission for them to even, you know, allow the money to go through as a transaction.
See,
At
I
some
think it'll be best we connect on a separate call.
yeah.
Respecting everyone's time, we'll have to give everyone a chance. And
Okay.
with your being a very specific case, we'll have to understand that in more detail. So
Mm,
it'll be best if we connect on a separate call, right?
okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your understanding. Thank you.
And one more question is when the NRO conversion to directly, can it be also remitted directly, or we have to convert NRO to NRE first?
That'll depend on what your bank supports. Generally, even if you don't have an NRE account, it should be fine. If you do NRO to foreign bank, it should be completely fine.
If I do a remittance from NRO directly to my UK bank, will that work, or do I have to convert
That'll work.
NRO to
That'll work.
NRE
That'll work. That'll work. Right. Right.
directly?
Yes. Yes. That'll
Or,
work. Yeah.
okay.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Mm.
Uh, anyone else, or we can take up the queries in the chat box. Or I think a lot of the
Yeah, I have one final question, Mohit, if you don't
yeah,
mind, can I ask?
of course, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Please.
so I will not take you much time, but I have just final question to ask. So Mohit, actually, I mostly invest in SBNRI for long term, but I also invest in a for short term as well for my vacation expenses, like in multi asset in quant. So after 2 3 years, when it get 2 3 4 lakhs rupees, then I will redeem it and I will use it to for my vacation plus to repatriate to back to Canada. And at that the moment, do I have to file the taxes? As I'm not a income tax earner in India, I mostly earn in Canada. I have zero income in India. Still have to file the taxes, or I should not file taxes at that time? I should file the taxes. How should that work?
No, again, see, if you're remitting money into India and investing in India, then
Yes,
you should definitely be filing. As we discussed, Mr. Santosh was on the call, and his was
yes,
an actual case that we had handled because he was transferring money into India and investing into a property. You could be investing into a property or any other asset class, be it an FD or a mutual fund. And if you're transferring money into India and having financial transactions, then you definitely need to file your ITR, irrespective of whether you have income or not. If you have financial transactions in India, it is strongly recommended that you file your ITR to avoid future unnecessary litigation. Yeah.
even though we have zero income, right? Still, we have to file our ITR.
If you have financial transactions, then do
Hmm.
file ITR. Income is not the only basis on which you have to file ITR. Okay. You
Oh,
end up receiving a notice for having financial transactions, and then you'll have to explain each and every transaction. So it's much easier that you just file your ITR. Yeah.
so in respect, how much SBNRI charge for taxes and all that, we have to talk separately. How much the
So,
payments
so
charge?
actually, Isha, if you can move on to the last slide right now, this will be helpful for a lot of people. So ITR filing charges generally vary. Isha, the last slide, with the charges, yeah. ITR filing generally varies between 4 to 7K or so. And these include, the most complicated of ITRs as well. So, depending on a case to case basis, yours, as you mentioned, should be in the lowest brackets or so. And right now we have a discount going on these prices that are mentioned over here. So,
Wow.
we can get this done at the earliest. And yeah, but definitely if you have financial transactions, please get your ITR filed, because if you get a notice, that becomes an unnecessary headache that can go on for years, and that can be expensive as well. So we definitely recommend ITR filing as a general practice here.
Do you guys also file ITR for my Canada income, like my Uber income, my T4s and all that? Do you guys still
So
help in that to file
yeah,
taxes?
so we have a Canada CPA as well, right? So we work
Okay.
in tandem, and he will be able to assist you with the Canada tax filing.
Be-
I, as a
because
tax accountant, I can
because
help you with
Mohit,
India.
the way I'm thinking is, at that moment we can do both things at one time. So we can do
Absolutely,
my Canada and that one as well.
absolutely. Both can be done
Yes,
right now. Yeah, yeah.
and I can save on discount as well at that time, because with total like
Of
total
course,
transaction, it will help me more.
absolutely,
So in
absolutely.
so in details, we're gonna talk in slide, right? Incoming slides, correct?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm willing to hear. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi Mohit, hope you are doing well now.
Hi,
This is Yogesh.
hi, Yogesh.
Yeah, I have a question regarding Demat accounts actually. I was having a resident account earlier and I got my major account converted into NRE, NRO. But I have couple of accounts which I'm still struggling or they are not providing NRO Demat account. So how it's going to affect what is the impact of that like if I still use, though I'm not using those account, resident Demat account.
Right. Yeah, see, that is what I would suggest. Don't use those accounts, right?
Okay.
As such, see, the tax authorities are mainly concerned with the fact that, if you're disclosing your incomes in India correctly and truthfully and not trying to evade taxes, right? That is the main concern for the tax authorities. The type of demat account or the type of bank account is not something that the tax authorities are concerned with. Okay. But under RBI regulations, but there are different laws, right? So under RBI regulations, you can't hold a regular savings account. You're supposed to be holding an NRO account.
Yeah, yeah.
Same with, demat accounts. There are SBI rules. There are SEBI rules and regulations. There are RBI regulations. So yeah, definitely stop using them. If you can't get it converted, I would ideally suggest stop using them. Yeah.
Okay, but that still the equities are there, so they're like
Which is
dividend and
fine.
all.
Which is fine. You can probably just hold them as long as you want, and at any point of time when you want to liquidate it,
O-
you can liquidate it. But stop, using it more for growing your portfolio. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And another question in the same situation is like I have like some investment where they are asking for eKYC and they are asking for regarding my address proof, and I'm here in GCC in Saudi Arabia actually. So I
Mhm.
don't have that address proof on my resident card or my driving license. What I'm providing is the letter from the company where I'm working or here we have this postal address. And this company is this, I think it's ICICI. They are not accepting this. So how can I deal with that?
See, I know this is, a major issue with respect to, NRIs facing KYC issues, and that is, a problem that SBNRI has been trying to solve. So because, this is of course a problem. If you can write to us, we can actually connect you to the relevant team who can actually guide you on this.
Okay,
I
okay.
don't know how to, get this solved. So just write to me if you have my email ID. It's already
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Write to me. I'll
Okay.
connect you to the relevant team, and they'll take this forward with you, right? And they'll help you as best as they can. Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mohit.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Mohit. This is Subhash.
Hi, Subhash.
I heard a lot of people sharing their good experience. So just let me know how to reach you so that I can this time onwards I can start filing income tax from your through your company
I'm
or
just
something.
sending my email ID in the chat box right now. So if you open the chat box, the latest message would be my email ID. Just reach out to me or my team, and we'll take the
Okay,
process.
fine.
Okay.
So I do a lot of option trading. So that part also, your team will take care. Yes,
Of
I'll
course.
just get the straight.
Yes, yes. All your financial transactions in India,
Okay.
we'll be considering all of them, and whatever income arises on that basis, the same will be reported. Absolutely.
Okay, that's nice. I have one question.
Sure.
Like when we are paying taking some service and we are paying GST, but some of the companies when I'm paying this GST, so it is not refunded because I'm paying from my NRE account. Okay, like term insurance and all these things. But
Right.
some company they are not paying, like the some
Sorry, Subhash, I
medical
lost you.
insurance in India,
I lost
so saying we cannot pay you. So hello,
you. Yeah. Yes, Subhash.
so you understand my question?
No, we actually lost you. There are probably some connection issues.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'm just asking, while paying, taking the service from India, like term insurance, other thing. So the GST is getting refunded, like HDFC Life, they are refunding the GST. Okay.
Right.
But some of the company, like medical insurance, though I'm paying through my NRA account, so they are not paying the GST back.
No,
So do
I
you
think
have any idea on this?
no. There is a specific provision with respect to life insurance under the GST law, because of which they are able to, refund it to you. This is not available under, entire GST that you pay in India cannot be refunded to you. So there is a specific provision under the GST law for specific insurance policies under which, if as an NRI you're buying those policies, that will be refunded to you. It is not available on all transactions.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. Right. So I think we are done with the questions. I'll just go through the chat box once to make sure, if there are any questions that might not have been discussed yet. We have a question from Pratik. I have EPF in India as well as PPF and NPS in India, where I'm continuing to invest in PPF and NPS. This shouldn't be an issue. So, Pratik, if you're still there on the call, or for everyone else, as an NRI, you shouldn't be continuing with PPF account once it has reached maturity. So once it matures after the initial 15-year period, you should ideally be, closing that account and transferring the funds to an NRO account. You you shouldn't renew it as an NRI, because NRIs are not supposed to hold a PPF account. If you already hold a PPF account from the time that you were a resident and you've later on become a non-resident, you can continue that account only till its maturity, right? So again, I think, right. Thank you, Rajiv. Thanks for your feedback. And I think this is pretty much it. Anyone else, if you have any questions, feel free to
Yeah.
unmute yourself.
Uh, Hi, Mohit.
Hi, hi. Yeah,
Yeah. Like a lot of the others, I'm also a very happy and satisfied customer of SBNRI. We connected in the past.
right.
One of the questions that I had was the first slide mentioned something called an inoperative PAN, which
Right.
may require a liaison with
Reaching out to the jurisdictional assessing officer.
yeah,
Correct.
exactly, the jurisdictional assessing officer, right? Could you shed a little bit of light on it, please? Because even when one converts the residential status on the income tax portal, when one looks up some of these platforms, even on some of the platforms, it's mentioned that you must on the income tax portal find out who your jurisdictional assessment
Right.
officer is, assessing officer is,
Right.
and you should try and contact. But I don't know if that's a great idea. So maybe shedding some light on it could be useful. That's the first question. I'd let you answer that first.
Right. So, Gaurav, now this is a major problem for people who do not have Aadhaar cards. Okay. So, in the first place, if you have a PAN which is linked with an Aadhaar card, if you already have an Aadhaar and the PAN and Aadhaar are linked, then you don't need to worry about this at all. If you do
Okay.
not have an Aadhaar card, then your PAN would have become inoperative. Okay. And to
Hmm.
make it operative, the only way is to reach out to the AO. There is
Okay.
no other system available. The AO has the authority, and he is the only person who has the authority to update your citizenship or residential status in the PAN database. You can log into the profile, and in the profile section, you can change your residential and citizenship status, but that does not actually matter. The AO has to do it from his end at the back end, and only then that change will take effect. This is only required if you do not have an Aadhaar. If you have an Aadhaar, link it with your PIN and the problem is solved.
Understood. Okay, fantastic. The second short question that I had was, now I just recently turned uh, into a non-resident in financial year 25, and as a matter of fact, some of the things that I've done is updated my residential status on the income tax portal, converted savings account to an NRO account, and so on across my banks. But I was wondering if there are any other steps to be taken, and I could give you an example. Let's say on some platforms, one hears that you must write to each and every AMC if you may be holding mutual fund units, and each and every AMC may need to be informed of your residential status change, right? Similarly, with a term insurance or a medical insurance that you may be pursuing even while outside India. So, is there a smarter way of doing this versus writing to so many different stakeholders across NPS, sovereign gold bonds, and AMCs, and so on? Is there a, if you update your residential status on the CKYC, does it automatically take care of some of these things, or unfortunately, one has to go individually?
No, so see that linking of information across various departments is a process, but it is an ongoing process. Okay, so
Mhm.
we cannot actually assume that updating it on the eKYC will make that information available to everyone. Ideally, that should be the case, right? But
Mhm.
that is an ongoing process which will probably take a lot of times. Ideally, you should reach out to all these financial intermediaries, and at least at your end, your responsibility is to make sure that you make that communication with them. It can be
Mhm.
difficult to follow up with each and every one of them to get this update done, and that should be fine. That is not your responsibility. But at your end, at least the first responsibility is that you do make this communication, so that from a compliance point of view, you are safe, that you at least made that communication. A lot of times, even with converting your savings to NRO with government banks can be a huge hassle, not
Yeah.
with private banks, but with government banks. So at your end, just make that communication and leave it at that point. And if they get back to you with any further requirements, you can then just share those here.
Sure, sure, sure. No, makes sense. And I believe it is as soon as possible basis, right? There may not be a defined timeline that you may do it within
Yes, there is no
365
defined
days or.
timeline. Absolutely, there is no
Hmm.
defined timeline. If you are going to be outside India and an NRI for the foreseeable future, if you've gone there for a specific time for a specific project, and you expect to come back, then of course you're not required to do this. But if
Hmm.
you do not have any visibility of coming back for now and for the foreseeable future, you will continue to be an NRI, then yeah, ideally do it at the earliest. Yeah, there is no defined timeline. There are no such specific laws that define any penalties, but things can get complicated at any point of time. So just do it at the earliest when you can.
Okay, Mohit, thank you. And thanks for taking all of these questions with such immense grace and composure. Highly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you. Right. So anyone else? I think this was a good session, even for those people who did not ask anything. I hope that you got a lot of understanding about tax compliances in India. Again, as we mentioned, you feel free to reach out to us at any point of time on our email IDs. We've shared that in the chat box. So please do reach out to us. We'll be more than happy, to receive your emails, and we can take the conversation forward from there. We do.
Hi, Mohit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really sorry if I ask one more question because I don't want to be too much picky. Like, is it okay? I can ask one more question, please.
Sure, Abhinav, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much again. Actually, it is a little bit complicated for me to ask. Like, in India, like we all have friend circle, right? Say, any my friend ask me money, like he need help for 10,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees. I usually send by my Remitly app, or I send them by my NRE account, or either way I use my mother's GPay. So if when they want to pay me back my money, how should I receive it? I tell them send me from the Western Union, or tell them put in my NRO account, or how to take my money then from my NRO account, because I don't want that Indian taxation system consider it as my income, because I'm helping my friend. So how should I take money back? Because sending is easy. Taking money from
Right.
any friend
See,
whom I'm
ideally,
helping.
ideally, do it from your Indian account, and, keep these transactions simple in the sense that, if you're gifting it from your NRO account, then ask them to give it back into your NRO account. If you're transferring it from your foreign account, ask them to transfer it back to the same account, right? Uh, Making these transactions from multiple accounts can make it complicated. The tax authorities can reach out to you at any point in time with respect to any receipts that you have, right? And then the onus will be on you to prove that this was not income, this was just a loan that I'd given to a friend and I'd received the money back. Having said that, an amount of 10, 15,000 wouldn't really give you any queries, wouldn't raise any eyebrows. But as a general practice, keep this a standard process where if you want to give anyone any money, you ask them to return it into the same account. Yeah. If the amounts are huge, greater than 10 lakhs or so, then, getting the money back into the foreign account by a non-relative Indian could be a complicated process for the individual as well, because tax implications come up, if an individual is transferring money from a regular savings account to a foreign account. So it'll be best to do these transactions from your NRO account. If you ever want to remit money into India, do it into your own NRO account, and then move the money from your NRO or NRE to anywhere you want, right? But do remember, at the point when they want to pay back, it'll be easier for them to pay it into your NRO account. So ideally move it into your NRO account first and keep your transactions from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So thank you everyone. Feel free to reach out. We do realize a lot of times, people have queries, but they prefer to, instead of asking in front of an audience, some people actually prefer to, ask separately where other people are not involved. That was the very reason, why we kept the option of scheduling a one-on-one call. The link is already there in the chat box. Feel free to, use that link at any point in time, or reach out to me on my email, and we'll take that forward. I hope everyone's queries have been answered. If not, I'm really sorry, but I'm sure we'll keep, organizing more such webinars for everyone to come in. uh, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining in, and hope to hear from you soon. Whenever you need any help with tax compliance in India, feel free to reach out, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you everyone. Thank you.